Hi everyone, welcome to the Art of Todd Nauck Facebook page. I'm Todd Nauck, comic book artist. Today is May 11th, and this is episode 25 of the Art of Todd Nauck show here on Facebook. Let's see, it's been a while since I've done a broadcast. I've been a little more intermittent this year, just because I've been so busy with work, working on different projects and getting my convention travel in. So speaking of convention travel, I will be at the Ontario, California one-day convention, Comic-Con Revolution. That's this Saturday. So if you're in Southern California, especially if you're in the Inland Empire, be sure to come to Comic-Con Revolution. Look it up. Brand new show, one-day show, and it should be a lot of fun. They got a lot of comic book artists as guests there, so it should be a really good time. And hello, everybody. Welcome. I appreciate everyone tuning in here. So this is part 2 of a video series. This piece I started several months ago. Teen Jean Grey from X-Men Blue. I did the line art for this in episode 23. Then did a Starfire Post-it note for episode 24. Now let me take that again. Now here we are with episode 25 of the Facebook show, doing the Copic color. So we're just going to hop right into it and throw down some Copic marker color on this Jean Grey. So I'll do my best to answer your questions as you post them, but a lot of my attention will go into the artwork here, but hopefully I can also tackle a few questions for the Q&A at the end of the art broadcast, so make sure you stay tuned for that. So let's flip the camera around and get to coloring. All right, so let's crack in with some Copic color. I'm going to start with the flesh tones, starting with some E00 as my base for Jean's skin tone. Leaving a little bit of the white of the board. And let's push in here since I'm working on the face, so you get a little more detail. All right, so leaving some of the white of the board for a highlight. Don't want to use all that up with the base color. Much of it, but not all of it. Another thing I consider is the planes of the face. Down the bridge of the nose, across the cheek, over the chin, other cheek, the upper lip, under the eye, the temple, where the nose connects to the forehead, underneath the nose, things like that. These are the planes of her face, or of a person's face you want to consider. So it takes a lot of practice to learn those planes, or feel comfortable with those planes. Same goes for the fingers, the jacket, her hair. It's all a series of planes, shapes. So we're going to do all the flesh tones first here. Thanks for the kind words, gang. Appreciate y'all tuning in, hanging out with me. So aside from Jean's face and hands, that's pretty much the only parts where we'll see skin. The rest will be her green and yellow bodysuit and jacket. So now we're going to come in with a slightly darker shade, an E01. Sculpt in a little shadow. So I'm seeing my light source is coming from this direction, so we have a bigger highlight here and a smaller highlight over here. So I'm going to put shadows on this side of the nose, underneath her eye, this side of her face for the most part. Putting the shadows on the opposite side. A little shadow through here, behind the hair. Same here, a little bit underneath the eye there. Same with the hands. Can you borrow $5 million? If you find a way to find someone who will lend you $5 million, introduce me. I'd like to get in on that as well. I'm going to come in with a little E11, E11 for a little darker shade. Just going to use this kind of sparingly. These are where I want even darker shadows. Let's see, still amaze you how I make it seem so easy. Well, thank you for the kind words. You know, that's the thing about practicing. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to hear that the best advice is practice, but it really is, because we practice, and we make it look easy. You can make what you do look easy if you practice. So continue to practice. That's where mastery comes from. And then there's always still something new to learn and new ways to master things. So, you know, quarterback Aaron Rodgers makes throwing a Hail Mary into the end zone look easy, but that's because he practices. So be sure to practice your craft, gang. Whatever it is you do, practice. Now for a little E000 here. I'm going to kind of blend some of these through here. It's a lighter shade. Don't like using the colorless blender for my blending. I like to use the lightest shade of whatever family of colors I'm using for my blending. I think it kind of gives it a more watercolory sort of effect. Colorless blenders are a good tool to use. I use them for certain effects, but when it comes to blending my my colors, I don't really use the colorless blender. Not a word I say very often. Colorless blender. Let's see. How is the process of submitting and presenting your creator-owned series to a publisher? How is the process? You know, I think it's going to be different for every creator. And the best thing to do is to go to the publishers. And if it's a creator-owned thing, you're going to want to go to publishers like Image, maybe Boom or Dark Horse or IDW, and check out their submission guidelines. And they'll let you know what it is they want to see from you to submit your creator-owned idea or series that you plan to do. So now we're going to rosy up the nose and cheeks like I like to do. So a little R00 here. Still leaving that tip of the nose, leaving the white there on the board. Gonna bring this through the cheeks. For a character like Teen Jean, I'm gonna really use a lot of R00 on the cheeks. A little bit here on the chin. A little bit through the knuckles here. And even in the hand here, just to kind of give it a sense of life. That pink kind of translates in that way. You're waiting for me to come visit Brazil. I hope to visit Brazil one day. I hope to be a guest at CCXP someday. So now coming in with a little R20 for the tip of the nose there. Just to rosy it up a bit more. A little bit here at the top of the cheeks. Just for a little more contrast. And then back to the R00 to kind of blend that through. Okay, so that takes care of her face. Let's move on to her hair. So let's see, someone's asking about is there a black plastic display case for comics that I can get at a store? You know, I'm not familiar with those, unfortunately. I'm not quite sure the product you're asking about. So I wouldn't be able to advise on that. Unfortunately, I'm not familiar with those black sketch cover cases. So just coming in with some YR68 as my base orange for her hair. We're leaving a white ring there to show the highlight in her hair. I'm going to do the same through here, how it falls, leaving some white there for highlight of her hair. What size did I originally draw the Secret Empire cover? I did 2 Secret Empire covers, one with Captain America holding the Defenders, and then the Where's Hydra one, where I drew a ton of Marvel heroes and villains. Both of those were drawn at 11 by 17. So let's see, that was the YR68 I was using. Now we're going to come in with a little YR12. Just a lighter shade of orange. Transition from that darker shade of orange into the white a little bit, create a little bit of a gradation. Now a little bit of red. I'm going to come in with some more red, so I'm going to use a little R24 here, because Jean's hair is pretty red. Sometimes they color it full on red, not quite orange, but actually red. So I want to kind of do a little bit of both. Down here through the tips, through the roots here, dropping in some R24. Do I remember all the different Copic tones, or is there a guide? I remember what I like to use, and then sometimes I'll experiment with different tones that I want to or need to use for a specific illustration. So I have not used a guide in how I mix and match my colors. I'm all about experimentation. Just give it a whirl and see what happens. Or I'll use a test piece of paper before I commit to the illustration, see how the colors work together. Now a little R27. R27, a little even darker shade of red here. Like that. Let's see. I'm going to go back to that YR12 I was using earlier, just to kind of blend those reds and oranges together. So it's the lightest shade of orange I was using for her hair for blendification. It's a very important term, blendification. Be sure to write that down somewhere. Blendification. There we go. Now let's color her lips. A little. I'm going to start with the RV32. Little RV32. Let's come in with a little. Let's see, trying to figure out what shade. Where I want to take these shades. Let's come in with a little RV8. And then a little RV95 as my shadow shade. So the face is coming together now, I think. I'm starting to see the life pop in. So a little bit of the red from the hair kind of blended in. I kind of went out of the lines. So what I can do is take my lighter shade of E, the E00 here. I just kind of go over that red and it kind of blurs it out because these markers are made to blend with each other. So it's kind of, in a sense, you can kind of quote unquote erase some mistakes like that. So now that red that I accidentally got over her fingers, I've kind of blended that out a little bit. Little trick there I've learned. So let's see, let's tackle the eyes here. Let's try some YG45. YG45, it's kind of a darker shade. Just the part underneath her eyelid and on the opposite side of that little highlight in her eyes. And then let's come in with a G14. And then let's bring it home with some YG03. And a little B000. Just put a little shadow color underneath the eyelid for the white of her eye. I'll be going over this B with some cool gray a little later on. So now let's move on to her costume. Let's start with the yellows here, and we're going to start with some Y13 for the base shade of yellow. Just still leaving a little bit of the white of the board as a highlight. And considering the shape of the shoulder, even though this is a big bulky jacket, there are still planes to how this jacket fits over her body and over her arms. So I want to keep those, each section in mind and how I sculpt it with color. Then her X gloves. Let's see, we got the X on her bodysuit. And this stripe around her torso. I'm putting color here because the jacket overlays, so it would cast a shadow. Because remember, the light's coming this way, so the jacket's over it, so so we're going to see a shadow there. All right, so that's step one of the yellows. Step two, a little Y21. I'm going to start adding my shadow colors. And remembering, as I said, the light's coming from this direction, so the darker colors are going to go on the opposite side or underneath certain objects. So there's two things you have to think about. What is the opposite side of where the light's coming from, and also what things overlap and would cast a shadow, like right here, right there. Keeping in mind the flap of the jacket will cast a shadow. Also keeping in mind the shape of the body or the face and the planes of the body slash face slash whatever it is we're illustrating. Just kind of a basic rule of thumb that you can start with. And then go from there. All right. Now I need a little lighter shade of yellow to kind of fill in some of this open area here. So I'm coming in with some Y00, the lightest shade of yellow that I currently own. So just blending from the shades of yellow I've dropped in now into this white area, just kind of blending it through. Again, we're working with blendification. And even going over the darker shade of yellow, the Y21 over the Y13, just kind of blending this Y00 over all of that to really smooth it out. As you can see here, it's kind of smooth. The ink has saturated into the board and bled it out, and that makes it look all smooth. Will this video be up on YouTube in the near future? Yes, if the footage saves to my phone correctly, then I will have this video up on YouTube, hopefully this weekend. Let's see. What are the next projects that I can talk about? My current project I cannot talk about, so yeah, we'll have to stay tuned for that. My most recent project that came out was Spider-Man Homecoming Prelude issues 1 and 2, which are out in stores right now. You can get both issues. All right, so that covers our yellows for the time being. And now let's move into Grayville, or not Grayville, Greenville. Going to Greenville first, and then we're going to come in and start adding some grays. So let's see. I want to start with, let's use that G14. For my base. It's my base shade of green. I'm going to come in with darker and lighter shades over this, just like we did the other parts on Jean. And here, like with the sleeves, are a lot of fun because it's a big and bunchy jacket, so there are all these folds. And it can be really fun playing with the folds and the shapes that are made. It takes a lot of practice though. It's not easy to learn, but the more you work at it, the more you'll start to get a feel for it. So it's kind of having to push through that learning process, that learning curve. Study real life jackets and how clothes fold, and look at the shapes that are made. That's what I had to do. That's what pretty much any of us have to do, is to look at what's out there and then practice drawing it. You know, just trial and error, just giving it a whirl. Sometimes it'll be frustrating. That's understandable because we're forcing our brain to learn something new. Our brains don't like that oftentimes. But if you've seen many of my videos or broadcasts in the past, you know that I liken practicing to playing a video game. You know, we keep at it because we want to get to that next level in the game. It's the same with whatever it is you want to do. If you want to get to the next level, you keep at it. And even though it's challenging, you know, it might be challenging to beat whatever boss, you know, you're confronted with in the game, but you keep at it because you want to keep moving forward with the game. Same with your art or your writing or studies or whatever it is. You keep at it because you want to get to that next level. If you just quit or don't allow yourself to be challenged, then you're just always going to be at that first level. You know, you're going to be hitting the same bricks with Mario's head every time. You know, it's the same Koopas every time, and you're not getting to the other levels. There's going to be a lot of failure at first, but that's okay. That's okay. You're going to learn from that. You're going to then inform how you approach it the next time, and then you'll hopefully have a different result. And these different results will start to accrue over time, but it takes the time. And that's kind of separates who, you know, How far a person goes in their art or doesn't go is how much time they're willing to put into it and push through those challenges. But know that everyone faces those challenges. We all do. It's just pushing through, trying something new, allowing yourself to be challenged and wrestle with that challenge in hopes of getting to that next level. Looks like this G14 is going to need a refill. Starting to get a little streaky, which means it's probably almost empty. I have to see if I even own a G14 refill. I have to check my stock. So let's see, the next color we're going to tackle is, let's try the G05. A little bit darker shade. When I blend the same colors, how many shades do I skip? Like if you start with gray 9 and want to go lighter, do you go to a gray 7? You know, it depends on how extreme or how subtle I want that blending to go. So if I'm doing a gray fade, say with some cool grays, whichever gray, cool, warm, neutral, toner, whichever ones. So we'll just say cool grays. So if I'm doing a cool gray fade, I might start, say I wanted to start really dark with a 9, cool, I go with a 9, and then if I want it to be a very drastic fade, I'll skip every other color or every other shade or every third shade. I might go from the cool gray 9 to the cool gray 6 to the cool gray 3. If I want it to be really subtle, I go every tone down. Cool gray 9 to cool gray 8 to cool gray 7, all the way down to maybe cool gray 1 or cool gray 0. It just depends on how extreme or subtle. If you want it to be subtle, you're going to use every shade all the way down. If you want it to be more stark, more extreme of a fade, you're gonna start skipping shades. Either every other shade, every third shade. Just all depends on what you want your final product to look like. I often go every other shade, especially on my post-it notes. So now we're going to add some kind of a highlighter, more of a highlight color, so YG03. Some of these colors were the same ones we used for her eyes. I'm just going to pull this across all the Hey there, we're back. Hopefully that internet gag didn't throw y'all off too much. So now I'm pulling this green through here to kind of blend it all together. Still leaving a little bit of the white for highlights. Happy little highlights. But also smoothing out those shades of green to make a more fluid transition. Also, it's bringing some vibrancy, even greater level of vibrancy to the greens I laid down because of the shade of green. It's going. I inked this with sepia tones, but so I want to bring in a little YG45 just to go over the sepia tone parts. For the little parts I left open for kind of the line art there of the delineation of her neck to her collarbone. Just kind of dropping in this YG45 just to kind of punch up that sepia tone, quote-unquote black that I laid down. Might not be showing up on the video as well, but in real life here, it is kind of showing a difference in what I did. And then down here through the fade, I want that color to pull through. So I'm translating this black, which I inked in sepia tone, as a green-based black. And that's all in quotes there. All right, so that's the... Oh, let's do her psi effect before I go into the gray aspect. So, so I got my red mechanical pencil here because I'm going to be doing this straight up pink. So this kind of lets me draw in a little bit of a guideline without, let's see, she kind of does her TK with her hands, so maybe she's charging up her hand for a TK, and TK as in telekinesis, telekinetic punch, or push. So I'm going to come in with some RV13. I'm going to let the brush tip kind of, depending on how much I push down or not push down, how hard or lightly, I guess I should say, I push down, creates these bleeps and bloops and blorps across the page. Gives it texture, like an energy that's coalescing from her mind or from her hand. A little bit here through the logo. A few little extra dots, little side dots. Remnants of psychic or I should say telepathic or telekinetic energy signature. So that's step one. Step two, let's come in with some R11. Pulling this shade of pink in kind of a starburst fashion. So from the outer part and then towards the inner part. Let's come in with a little R52, R52, and going over that R11 with this R52. Kind of creates a new shade of pink when those two pinks merge. They're one shade on their own, but combining the two makes something new. This is the magic of blendification. So see, now we're starting to get a sense of her psionics there. Coming to life, coming at you. In fact, I think what I want to do is, do I want to do that? Maybe I don't. Have I seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2? Yes, I have. It was awesome. No spoilers here, gang. No spoilers, okay? Spoiler-free zone. Do not post spoilers. I will block you from my account. I've had to do it last time during Logan. That poor individual who was posting all sorts of spoilers, he got blocked. He's not allowed to come back anymore, so don't post spoilers. I will come back and find you. I will block you. So, yes. Great movie. If you haven't seen it yet, race out and go see it. Good time, good movie. If you like the first one, I think you'll like the second one. Okay, so next up, let's put a little bit of a background in here. So I'm going to use my circle protractor thingamajig. Oh, I forgot. Hold on, not background time. Sorry, gang. Thinking about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 got me all distracted and I forgot I need to do the gray tone section. So let's drop in some gray. So first up, some warm gray 1 for the skin. And I'm going to pull this through the yellow as well. So I like adding the cool and warm and neutral grays after the colors because it kind of grounds the character in the reality that they're living in, whatever reality I'm creating here for them. It could be cool just to leave it the bright colors, but to me it's a little too bright. I want it to have a little more grit, a little more edge, if that's even the right word. Just the shadow of it just gives it a little less, makes it look a little less what I like to call skittly. Doesn't quite look like a package of Skittles. So now coming in with some W4, a little darker shade of warm gray to come up through the hair here. On the opposite side, remember saying the light was coming down this way. So we're going to put these warm grays, or any shade of gray really, on the opposite side. And if I use it on the light side, where the light's coming from, just a little less so. But also keeping in mind, what is it overlapping? In fact, I want a little more, I like how it's looking here, I want a little more gray on this side to really create that contrast. Really round out those shapes, shape rounding. It's a facet of the blendification. So coming in with a little cool gray 2. So I was using the warm gray 4 there on the hair. Now a little cool gray 2. Not cool gray, yeah, cool gray 2. It is cool gray 2. And see how it's starting to give it more life and more shape. It's taking it to another level than just what the colors were doing. A little bit under the nose there, a little under the chin, on the opposite side of the chin. Now I need that lightest shade. Let's go with a cool 1. And that little blue I put here in her eyes, now I'm taking it to that next level because I don't want it to be blue, but bluish gray. All right. So let's try some cool gray 5 here for the shadows throughout the green. Now if you just tuned in, a lot of my focus is going into the art. I do plan on doing a Q&A afterwards, so stick around for that where I'll be able to address more questions where I'm a little less distracted by the actual art or process. I'd appreciate everyone posting questions, and I really hope I get a chance to address more than I have so far. But I do appreciate everyone posting. And oftentimes I go back after the broadcast and read what y'all have posted, so know that they're at least read if I don't get a chance to answer or address everyone's questions. So I really appreciate everyone's support. Y'all are all very awesome. So thank you very much. Well, at least verbalize that. Thank you. Thank you. See what that gray does? Man, I love it. It's so much fun dropping in the grays. It's like it's like putting icing on the cake, you know? And every part's a corner piece. Corner piece. All right, now, if I haven't made that clear, now is the time for backgrounds. So what we're going to do is do a circular circle. Those are my favorite kind of circles, are the circular ones, because they're perfectly round. That is science meets nature. You can't argue with that. So we're going to come in with some neutral grays, starting with the neutral 4, just to kind of get the circle going. Being mindful of the logo here. Don't want to color over the logo. Let's see. Put that part in frame so you can see me do this part of the circle. Boop. Boom. Circle. Perfect circle. The circular circle is now enacted. So let's do a fade on this one. We're going to start with darker down here and work our way upwards. So I'm going to start with some neutral 5. I'm going to leave a little bit of a halo around Jean. Just a preference. It's not necessary, but for the next step I'll be doing after this, I just like the way the halo looks. Just my own personal preference. So I hope everyone's having a good time. Really, again, I appreciate everyone hanging out here with me. So I like to create some just little bloopy shapes through there. Bloopy shapes is a really disgusting breakfast cereal that's immediately soggy. It's immediately soggy. Before you even pour the milk in, it's already soggy. That's why they call it bloopy shapes. All your fun favorite cartoon shapes, but already soggy and bloopy. So as I blend through the bloopy shapes, I can create new bloopy shapes. So I went from the neutral 5, now here to the neutral 4. But these bloopy shapes, they kind of create a little bit of a texture. Even if it's subtle. It's giving a sense of a texture. So I'm doing a very subtle gradation, as we were talking about before, if y'all are here for that when someone asked about doing a gray gradation. So now the neutral 3, I'm hitting because I started so low, I started midway through the neutral gray spectrum. At a 5 instead of a 10, I had fewer choices as I moved my way down the scale of grays. So I'm hitting each one. Otherwise, I'd be going from 5 to 3 to 1. And that's I think a greater jump than I cared to have done. And then leaving a halo around her psionic effect as well. Enacting the blendification. So yeah, we're at the neutral 2 right now. So I went neutral 5 to neutral 4 to neutral 3 to neutral 2, just to spell it out. And finishing up with the neutral 1. Just kind of pulling this neutral 1, even down here into the darker shades for that blendedness. which was a rejected Archie Comics character. Blendy Blendedness was a character that I don't even know what the story was they were going to do, but she never really made it into Riverdale. I guess because she never existed till right now. All right, there we go. So that is the start of the background. Now let's move into some of the last moves here using my favorite, turn it right side up for everybody, Uniball Signo white gel pen. People ask what gel pen I use. I oftentimes prefer the Uniball Signo white gel pen. I also like the Jelly Roll white gel pen for tiny details, but I love the flow of the Uniball Signo. So what I'm going to do is put some tech here throughout the background to make it look all danger roomy. I love putting a danger room behind my X-Men in my illustrations. So so for the subtleness of the walls, I'm doing white over gray for that teched out danger room wall vibe. Just gives the background a little more something for the viewer's eye to play with. We also call that eye candy. I know what you're saying. You're saying, Todd, you're the only eye candy I need. And I appreciate that. Truly, I do. I do. But you don't always get to look at me. More often than not, you're looking at my art. So I want to try to give you a little extra eye candy with my art. Again, as I said in previous videos, it's my gift to you. My gift to you as an artist, to you the viewer. That and blendy blendification. All right, so get some horizontal lines going. With some diagonal lines. Yeah, give that a little moment to dry. I don't want to put my triangle on top of that before it's dry because then it smears and then that's really frustrating. So I do a little finger tap, little tippy tap, tip-taparoo. And if the white doesn't come off onto my finger, I know that I am now in the dry stage. Don't forget the Q&A is coming up a little bit later here after we finish the art, where I can focus more on your questions where I wasn't able to as much during the actual art production. Appreciate everyone's understanding and faithfulness. Hope y'all are having a good time hanging out here with me. I know I'm having a good time and I hope you are as well. So see how the danger room's starting to come together? So much fun dropping in the eye candy like this. Okay, not much more to do here. Just got a few more bits. See how that's just giving it some, it's giving Jean a reality to live in, essentially is what this is. Let's bring some circles in here for some curve tech. Boom, curves. Let's do another one over here. Zoop. Little diagonal line connecting them. Let's do a big circle, curvy part, maybe right through here. Want to be careful how they line up. Very thoughtful. I try to be as thoughtful as possible on how they line up. I don't want to create tangents where certain lines, I didn't want, oops, I was a little off screen, so sorry. I didn't want this line to connect with that corner, so I moved it down a little bit. So got to be mindful of things like that. And then let's do a little circle, a little circle right here. In fact, let's put a ring around that ring. Oops, again, off screen. So sorry, gang. Working too many tools at once here. Now what I want to do is put a little X right here, just kind of hiding an X in the background because it's X-Men. So that's halfway through the X. Kind of blowing on the ink there to get it to dry a little faster. Just kind of hover the triangle over it. Connect, 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 connect. I've drawn a lot of X's in my day. Boom, X-Men! X-Men symbol right there. That makes it even more exciting because we all know the X's are the symbol of the X-Men, and you get the little symbol in there, and it makes it just a little more fun. Or at least it makes it a little more fun for me. I hope it's fun for you. So, there we go. There we go. Let me put my signature on here and the date, which is May 11th. I always forget the date, but I tried to make note of the date today. Where are my sepia-toned pens? Sorry, gang. Didn't mean to bump that. I'm going to use the sepia-tone pens to sign because that's what I used to ink this piece. So we'll go. And like I said, it is May 11th, right? I now feel complete anxiety that I got the wrong day. Yes, May 11th. The 11th of May, 2017. Boom! So much fun. I'm really happy with how this turned out color-wise. All right, there we go. Let's plug back into the rig here. You can see my 1989 Arthur Adams Mutants poster. Love that poster. I've had that up in most of the places I've lived. One of my favorite posters. Awesome. And you can see over there, my Marvel 25th anniversary poster drawn by Carrie Gamble. I've had that since I was like a teenager. Love that poster too. All right, so gang, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for hanging out. And I will be posting a screenshot of this on my social media. So if you're watching on YouTube, click the link in the description below, the info below, to see a scan of this on my Art of Todd Nauck Facebook page. It'll also be on my Twitter, my Instagram, all my social media. I'll post my art. And be sure you follow me on all those pages as well. So we got a lot of questions already coming in. So let's take a look and answer a few. See, scroll back here if I can a little bit. So let's see. What's my favorite character to draw? Superheroes. I love superheroes. I'm a huge X-Men fan, so I love drawing all different kinds of X-Men. I love drawing Spider-Man, different Justice League characters, Flash, Booster Gold, Blue Beetle, Young Justice characters. I love drawing all sorts of characters, but I'm a huge X-Men fan. So those, if a gun to my head, I'd probably pick X-Men. As you can see, I got my 1985 X-Men action figures right there. They're not from 1985. It's just the 1985 X-Men lineup. These figures are the most recent X-Men action figures for the most part within the past 3 years to present. My favorite being Punk Rock Rogue, which I just got, I think late last year. Anyhow, I digress. You just landed your first big cover job. Any advice for a very nervous newbie? Congratulations, Natalie, on scoring your first professional gig. You know what? Have fun. Take your time for as long as you have the time. I know you're working under a deadline, so you don't want to blow that deadline. But have fun and just if you're feeling insecure about what you're drawing, take a moment to step away. I always suggest have that bowl of Apple Jacks, check your email, come back with a fresh eye and see what you're seeing now. You might realize, ooh, I need to make some changes here. Or you go, oh, this part is working, this part might not be working, and then just keep moving through the stages and have fun as best as possible. I shouldn't fire Annette. You're right, because often I'm working without Annette, so I don't even know if she's still hired. But yeah, I shouldn't fire her because, you know, in this economy, everyone needs their job. And as long as I can afford to keep Annette on the payroll, she's on the payroll. And a lot of you asking her, who's Annette? Annette helps produce these, but oftentimes I'm here by myself, so I'm often working without Annette. So it's been a long time running joke on my broadcast. So if you're new to my broadcast, welcome to one of my running jokes. I appreciate your support for Annette, Jared. Different Jared here asks, when are you going to do a full color piece? When I'm doing a full color piece. It's like, I just did a full color piece. When I'm doing a full color piece, I'm so sorry, Jared. Do I leave out pencil details and wing it on the colors? After I've inked the piece, I erase the pencil details and then go to the color, much like I did with Jean here. I penciled her, I inked her in video 1, episode 23, and now here in this video, doing all the colors. So yeah, I get rid of the pencil detail, and also pencil graphite is not good for the tip of a Copic brush tip. You don't want the graphite getting in there because it compromises your tip faster and you have to replace your tips faster. And it's okay to do that if that's your style and you don't mind replacing your tips, but if you want your tips to last longer, don't color these over pencil graphite lines. So that's my thought on that. Let's see, have done more digital work? If so, what tips do you suggest for transitioning from traditional to digital? Yes, I am now drawing digitally. I have now purchased, I can show it off here, my Cintiq, the Wacom Mobile Studio Pro 13. I got the 13 because I needed portability. It's much lighter than the 16. Smaller screen, but I'm okay with that. Got the 512 gig 8 process, jibbity jabbity bloobity blue boo. It'd take a scientist to explain what this thing can do. My suggestion on transitioning is it feels weird at first. Like when I first got it, I thought, why did I buy this? This is too hard. It's too hard. I'm used to drawing pencil on paper, drawing stylus on screen. I felt like a caveman. I felt like an unfrozen caveman comic book artist. What is this? Smash, Todd Smash. No. I had to keep at it. I just kept practicing and practicing and practicing. My first digital illustrations looked they looked all right, I guess. Maybe you've seen the Deadpool and the Howard the Duck I posted. Those were some of the first ones I did when I started really kind of playing with it. It just took a while to get used to the feel. So now I do layouts and pencils digitally, and then I output those. I print those out on 11x17 in blue line and then ink traditionally. As you can see here on this Captain America cover this is a Secret Empire cover. This is the original art. I penciled this all digitally. I laid it out, I penciled it digitally, which was great because the editor said, can I make this part bigger? So all I had to do was select it, blow it up. I didn't have to erase and redraw it. It was already there digitally. Just select it, enlarge it, reposition cap a little bit, boom, boom, boom. Print this out in blue line, inked it up traditionally so I could have a one-of-a-kind piece of original art and also the tactileness of ink on board. So I do like working this way. It's my new normal. It's my jam. Drawing this way right now. So still kind of learning how to draw like that and trying to regain my productiveness in my pencils. I'm slowed down a little bit because it is new to me to draw pencils digitally, but right now, I'm still learning in a lot of ways, but I'm able to bring all my knowledge from what I've done drawing traditionally to what I'm now doing digitally. So that helps me kind of progress a little further faster, but there is still things I have to learn because it is a new technique. So just keep at it. I wish I had, and watch some YouTube tutorials. That's what I did too. I did a search for Mobile Studio Pro, Clip Studio Paint, drawing, coloring tutorials. This is me typing in the air like I'm Tony Stark or something. No, I have to actually use a keyboard. So, I would just search them out and watch them. So I hope that helps you there, Georgia. Let's see if we have any more questions. You feel you're not satisfied with, let me get my finger out of the way there. You're not here to watch the Todd Nauck hand on the screen show. It's not talk to Todd Nauck's hand. You feel you're not satisfied with the progress in learning to draw anatomy. Is this normal to feel not satisfied with your progress? Of course it's normal to feel not satisfied, of course. It just means that you care and you want to get to another level. Thing is it's a journey. It's a journey, and sometimes it's slow going. But keep at it, because sometimes there are those moments where it clicks and you just kind of blaze ahead, but then sometimes it bogs down. The thing is to endure, to persevere. And that's what you could say to almost anything in life. It's just the ups and downs of it. So just keep at it. And maybe you should try something new. Try, whatever. If you're drawing in pencil, try working in some inks just to get your brain thinking a new way. Try some watercolor. That'll blow your mind. So try new things to kind of get your brain thinking in new ways. But, a lot of it is just persevering. So it's not unnormal to feel that way. Unnormal? Is that even a proper English sentence? It's not unnatural. It is normal to feel that way. And you're okay. You're okay. Just keep at it. Keep having fun. Hope that helps you there, Sonny. Have you ever thought of doing a drawing of Slobo? It's been a while since you saw a drawing of him by me. Slobo is one of the characters we created for the original Young Justice. He was the runt of the litter of Lobo clones, and he survived because he escaped the big battle where there could only be one Lobo. He is the second Lobo, but he was Slobo. I have not drawn a Slobo in some time, so at least I can recall. So I should do a Slobo illustration sometime. How am I excited am I for the Psych TV movie in December? Very excited. Oh, it's so awesome. Psych. If y'all haven't watched Psych, watch Psych. It's funny crime show. So a fake psychic detective solving crimes. Really funny. You've probably seen me cosplay as Sean Spencer from Psych at conventions. I'll probably be cosplaying as Sean Spencer at Comic-Con Revolution this Saturday. So yes, Chad, very excited. Gang, I want to say thank you so much for hanging out with me. It's always a pleasure to draw with you guys and gals. I hope y'all are having fun. I hope you're learning something. And if you're watching on YouTube, thanks so much for watching on YouTube. Really appreciate all the support, all the subscriptions, everyone subscribing, liking, commenting, giving thumbs up. Appreciate that. All the likes here on the Facebooks. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And hopefully we'll get a chance to do another broadcast in the not too distant future. So stay tuned to my social media, and I'll do my best to let you know when the next broadcast will be, at least a few hours before I do it. So hope everyone has had a good time. Hope you have a great week and going into the weekend. And I will hopefully see y'all again real soon. All the best, everybody. Bye-bye.